I'm gonna call to order the regular meeting of the Marinwood CSD Board of Directors, Tuesday, October 14th. I'm looking at 7:04 p.m. Since we currently don't have any members of the public here, I'm gonna skip the public instructions and go right to call to order and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Should we hold it?
You got it?
Yep.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We've got the agenda. Do we want to move the chief up in the agenda? So-
Well, he's right at the very top. All you got is the consent calendar
Oh, okay.
ahead of that.
Okay.
So
Well, then-
I would just,
Try.
I would just bang that
I'm
out.
here for chief support too.
Oh, boy,
Okay.
I need all the chief support I can get.
Anybody have any changes, anything that they would like to change in the agenda?
No, I'm good.
All good? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and adopt the agenda as it's written. On to item C, consent calendar. Anybody have any questions or comments there?
A couple comments really quick, Chris.
Sure, please.
I have a typo.
I saw that.
The date on the top of the minutes should say August 12th, not July 8th.
Gotcha.
They are the right minutes from August 8th, just the wrong date.
Okay,
So I'll make that change.
okay, great, thank you.
I had maybe a stupid question.
No, do it, come on.
Looking at 9711 and 9712, I don't remember seeing line items like that before, where it's
9711.
page
I got it.
one, okay.
Mhm.
Is that a different way of combining things? Is that like
No, 9711, these, well, first off, these are two entirely different things.
right,
So 9711 is credit card,
that's what I assumed.
you know,
Okay.
company-wide, district-wide
Yeah.
credit card, so everybody's, and coming out of summer, they're generally
Yeah.
a little bit higher, with all the purchases that summer uses, and 9712 is actually, payroll.
Okay. Somehow, it's the first time I've seen it in my brain registering this way, and I was like, I didn't understand, but now I understand, so it makes much more sense.
All right, there we go. Lisa, any questions?
None.
I had on, God, my eyes are so bad. Is it
The lighting's a little rough in
Here.
here.
95?
95, 93.
95, 93, the defensible space evaluations, and grant administration for the MWPA, is
Yeah.
that, I just noticed that was a super large number, is that something that is typical year to year?
Yeah, let me find the exact one, it said 95,
Sorry.
93,
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
where's 95, 86?
It is,
Yeah, to the city,
Page two.
yep,
at 26,000?
Yeah, 559.
Yeah, well, if I can be very blunt, that's actually an incredibly low number.
okay, I just didn't know.
Considering what other agencies would charge us to,
Okay.
to do such work.
Okay,
So this, when it says D-space evals, this is for their work when their staff come out and go property to
Right, right,
property,
right, right.
and they're
Okay.
doing all of the defensible space assessments for the residential homes. And they basically just, kind of charge by the hour on that,
Okay.
so it's direct cost pass through.
Okay.
They're not making money per se off of us. And then on where it also says grant admin, this is also for, some of their overall work in helping us with reporting and everything else.
Gotcha.
Not just the
Yeah.
feet on the ground, but the extra work that goes in to make sure everything's entered into the proper systems
Perfect.
and doing everything else. all the
perfect,
tracking,
yeah, it was I just hadn't remembered seeing something like that before, so I just thought I would ask the question.
It's generally annually, it probably will fluctuate a little bit, because one of the things we've said, especially since in the last 2 years in a row now, they've literally gone through and hit every house, and I've had a good response from a compliance standpoint,
Mhm.
that it's probably not gonna hit every house every year. We'd be looking at it more every other year, but definitely going after the houses that have flags that haven't done the remedial type of work on an annualized basis. And the way that they track and the system that's used, they know pretty well who those addresses are, so we would keep evaluating
Sure.
those
Sure.
specific properties
Okay.
and encouraging compliance.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
If there are no other
No other
questions,
questions?
all right, do I,
Oh, motion to approve.
I will second.
all those in favor?
I
Anybody opposed? We're all good. Okay. Item D, public comment, open time for items not on the agenda. There's no public in the room, so we're gonna skip to item E, district matters. One, introduction of the proposed ordinance. Go for it.
Okay, great, thank you for having me, nice to see you all.
Thank you very much for being here, we really appreciate
Great
it.
to be here with you all. So tonight is the introduction of ordinance, reading of title only, for the 2025 California Fire Code and 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code. And this is the first phase of the adoption process. In front of you, you've got some paper version of some PowerPoint slides, so I'm just gonna go through that. So on page 2, I've got the agenda, giving you a background, changes to the 2025 code, the new California Wildland Urban Interface Code, local amendments to the California Fire Code, and then tonight's objectives, which is reading of the ordinance title only, and then calling for the public hearing, which I believe will be on November 18th. if I'm
Yes,
not-
that's our next
Okay,
meeting.
great. So next slide is background. So this is the tri-annual California Code update process that all California agencies are now presently engaged with. The Office of the State Fire Marshal is the state agency responsible for reviewing and amending the International Fire Code for use in California. The State Fire Marshal develops California amendments to the International Fire Code to address, in our state, wildland fire hazards, local climatic, geological, and topographical conditions, and coordination with other California codes such as the building code. The State Fire Marshal then submits its proposed changes to the California Building Standards Commission, the CBC. The CBC is a statewide authority that formally approves, adopts, and publishes all building standards under Title 24 of the California Code of Regulations, including the California Fire Code. After public hearings and commission votes, the CBC adopts the proposed fire code. The California Fire Code is based on the International Fire Code as amended by the State Fire Marshal and is adopted by the California State Building Commission. This California Fire Code then becomes effective statewide on January 1 of the following year. So in this case, it will become law, regardless of what you do, on January 1, 2026. The County and Marine Building Department that oversees the Marinwood community is presently engaged in the adoption process for the following California codes: the building code, the residential code, the mechanical code, the electrical code, the energy code, the green building code, and several others. So those are the building department codes that are enforced in the Marinwood area, along with the fire code that you adopt, because you have your own fire agency, so you adopt the fire code. Let's see, on the next page now. So local amendments, nearly all agencies further amend the codes based on local conditions. Marinwood has several that reflect those of other marine agencies for uniformity. These are listed in our ordinance. All have been in place for several code cycles. We have no new amendments that we're proposing this year. For the local amendments to remain valid, the local agency governing body must adopt the new code 30 days before the effective date of January 1, 2026. So it's crucial that we kind of stay on track here. Introduce tonight, have the public hearing in November, and hopefully approve, and then we have more than 30 days, and it'll go into effect on January 1.
Great.
Let's see, I'm on slide 4 now. Changes to the California Fire Code. This cycle, there are no significant changes or updates to the code. Most could be considered modifications or adjustments to the current code language. I conducted my own page turn of the code and listed every change for reference. I gave Eric a copy of that to ensure there were no major changes that I wasn't aware of. This slide, I think, has some examples of some of the modifications. One interesting thing that doesn't really impact Marinwood, but it does definitely impact San Rafael, is bringing back permit requirements for mobile food vehicles. We have a lot of street vendors in San Rafael. And the 2022 code removed regulations that enable us to enforce the fire code on these types of vehicles.
Okay.
And that can be somewhat hazardous based on the fact that they're cooking food. They have commercial kitchens inside. So it's interesting the state fire marshal brought back our ability to enforce fire regulations and require permits for these types of businesses, which I think is a good thing. Recognizes more advanced detection and suppression systems, stricter building emergency planning and evacuation requirements, streamlining of materials, testing procedures and lab acceptance, some advancements in fire alarm and signaling systems, and then there's additional code language addressing lithium-ion batteries, storage systems, and just the use of batteries, which is actually the fire safety prevention theme this week for 2025. There's an increasing frequency of fires caused by lithium batteries, mainly like e-bikes and scooters and other devices where the battery could potentially become damaged. And then you have a damaged battery that's being recharged, and oftentimes there could be thermal runaway, and that can cause a fire. So we've had a few of these in San Rafael, one of which did significant damage to an apartment unit. Fortunately, this apartment building was sprinklered, and the sprinkler system kept the fire in check. Without that, we could have had a major problem on our hands. And the occupants, fortunately, were able to escape. They had to get past this fire to get out the door, and fortunately, the sprinkler system was kind of keeping the fire in check so they could escape. So it was a potential disaster that was averted by a fire sprinkler system, which is a good thing. So next slide, the California Wildland Urban Interface Code. Now this is new, and I've got the code books right there. I've got the 2025 California Fire Code, and now I've got the 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code. This is a new document for the first time. But although the document is new, everything in it is pretty much existing. And let me find my way here so I can explain that. Basically what it is it's a consolidation of codes relating to the wildland interface areas that were contained in the building code, which was chapter 7A, which pertained to construction requirements in the wildland urban interface areas. The California Fire Code, chapter 49, which set forth requirements for properties in wildland urban interface areas. And then the California Residential Code that had sections regarding materials and construction methods for wildland urban interface areas. So what the state did was they took those sections of those codes and just put them in that code. So it's in one central location, which makes a lot of sense. So that was one really good thing they did. So the ordinance before you this evening is a combination of your approval or future approval of the fire code and the WUI code.
Okay.
It's all in one ordinance.
Does that have to do with the maps that we saw?
Well, it has to do with the maps. Basically, it sets forth requirements for properties within the WUI zones,
Right.
within the state fire hazard severity zones.
And those maps that we saw are.
That's the fire
that-
hazards.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to combine everything that I was thinking together, okay.
A lot of people talk about Zone 0. Zone 0 is not contained in these documents. Zone 0 will come probably in 2026 through legislation.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big issue right there. There's a lot of pushback. A lot of property owners that don't support it. So it's working its way through hearings right now. So we'll probably see something on it.
Just to be clear to Chief, zone 0 is,
Nothing 0 to 5 feet.
right, no flammable materials, vegetation or other materials within 5 feet of your home.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard of that or not.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
you will, it's coming. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there.
But it's coming as like state legislation, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not part of these codes,
Yeah.
so.
There goes my first
Yeah.
case.
So the main takeaway here is that the codes relating to the WUI zones were fragmented across multiple different code documents, and now they've been consolidated into one. So next slide is local amendments. As I mentioned, no new local amendments are being proposed. Existing amendments from the 2022 California Fire Code just roll forward. And the amendments that you have in your ordinance have been in for several code cycles. There really hasn't been any changes. One really good point about the local amendments is that all the marine fire agencies have the same local amendments. So there's uniformity across the county, which is a good thing. So that really reduces confusion for architects, contractors, property owners, so they're not getting different requirements in different communities. So, the Marine Fire Prevention Officers is a very close-knit group, has an excellent working relationship, meets on a monthly basis, has several subcommittees that meet on various issues, and they do a lot of good work. And part of that is the fact that they've created these local amendments and that there's buy-in across the county to basically adopt the same thing at the same time. And then the next item is basically reading, introduction to the ordinance, reading the title, which I'm not sure if Tiffany, you want to do that, or Eric, or do you want me to? It's just we have to read it into the public record.
Chris
I can read it.
Okay?
All right.
Can you read it?
I can.
On next row.
Ordinance number 2025-02, if I'm getting those numbers correct. An ordinance of the Marinwood Community Services District adopting and modifying the 2025 California Fire Code with existing local amendments based on the 2024 International Fire Code and the 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code based on the 2024 International Wildland Urban Interface Code, prescribing regulations governing conditions hazardous to life and property from fire or explosion, providing for the assistance of permits, issuance of permits for hazardous uses for operations, and define the powers and duties of the fire chief and the fire prevention officer.
Thank you. And then the final page is the board should call for a public hearing on November 18th. And then if there's any questions or comments, we can take those as well.
Okay, great. Do you guys have any questions about anything that was presented?
Oh, that's great, thank you.
All right. I'm on slide 4. It said changes to the 2025 California Fire Code. Third main bullet down says stricter building emergency planning and evacuation requirements. Does that include community evacuation requirements? It does
Mainly
not.
for new structures.
Okay.
Yeah, mid-rise, high-rise buildings,
Okay.
things like that.
Okay, so that does not, because I know we have some concerns about our evacuation planning and procedures. So it does not cover that?
No.
Okay. And then my other question is from slide 6. And it says current local amendments include, third one down says fire road provisions.
It's fire road maintenance.
Okay,
Yeah, we just have extra provisions in there to ensure that fire roads are maintained properly in accordance with certain standards. There's a fire road standard that we try to adhere to, ensuring the safety of fire vehicles, because they're very heavy, obviously.
right.
And traveling on fire roads can be quite risky, so we want to make sure our fire roads are constructed and maintained to
okay.
a certain standard.
And is would be in our case, because we do have fire roads in our community,
Yeah.
would it be our responsibility to maintain those fire roads?
If
or is
they're under
that-
the ownership of Marinwood,
Okay,
yes. Yeah, a lot of them are in county open space. Centerville owns many fire roads,
Right,
many of which are in county open space, Marin Municipal Water District,
sure,
state parks.
right.
But, yeah.
So for us, Eric, we own our fire roads up to a certain level, is that? how-
Where they reside through our property.
Okay,
So like the main, there's one, really.
okay, we're talking Queenstone.
That is, yes, Queenstone is the only one, and when you get to a certain point on Queenstone, shortly before it intersects with Chicken Shack towards
Right,
the top,
right.
it then moves on to county property. If you follow Chicken Shack, the other side, you're into Novato property.
Right,
There's a lot of different owners in different places, and then what I would say is, you know, when it comes to kind of some of that maintenance needs, just making sure it's an operable, passable road, Fire Chief Weber at the county has been tremendous in helping us keep that where it needs to be. They have the operators, they have the equipment to
Right.
properly do that work. They recently did some work on that road, just making sure that it was good for the upcoming fire season. That I know it feels like it's over with this rain, but it's not over.
Right.
Yeah, but so they did all that to make sure that not only engines, but water tenders, trucks, you know, whatever's needed could get out there as efficiently and safely as possible.
perfect,
Okay.
yeah, great,
So-
all right.
So, would MWPA funds?
That's a whole different
I
conversation
just
that
thought I would stick
that
that
we
out
are in
there
process
because
of trying to get some clarity out of
Okay.
that.
Because
I mean, because
since the
this
vote,
becoming
this
a,
kind of says that,
right,
Mhm.
that it's mandatory, yeah, all right.
yeah, both of
It's
us
a, it's a
really.
policy question
Yeah.
for MWPA and their Board of Governors to tackle as opposed to allowable use of MWPA funds.
Okay,
Okay,
I get it.
great. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
just the last comment, what I do now is I leave these code documents at or near the main counter along with the ordinance for public review over the next 30-day period until the public hearing. So they'll be available for anybody who wants to stop in if they've seen the meeting tonight or they've read the agenda to know, I want to see more, what is that about? There's documents and materials that kind of explain it that will be available.
Thank
And
you
then
so much.
I would say Chris is the board president, that it's formality is probably not needed, but you might as well call and set for a public hearing on November 18th for adoption of the fire code as presented.
All right, so we'll be calling a hearing on November 18th. Come on down, join us, it's must-see entertainment, and we'll be discussing that and deciding on how we're moving forward.
Yep. Well, ideally you'd be adopting.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
but we'll leave that for that day, excellent.
And then in closing, before you go, I really gotta, and I thanked him profusely, but Chief Senate, there's no way we'd been able to do this without his help. I mean, just the time and effort he puts in to make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed, the communication with all of the other fire prevention officers and fire marshals across the county. Just, Chief, thank you so very much.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not a light lift.
Right, thank you very much, we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
3 years is just enough time to forget the process and have to relearn it.
Well, I could have sworn,
Yeah.
3 years ago, he said, this will be my last code adoption. So we'll see you in 3 years, Chief.
Thank you so much, we appreciate what you guys do for the community, for sure.
Yeah, Chief, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank
I
you
love
very
working with Marinwood. Love it.
Thank you.
We love it, thank you.
District Matters E2, District Manager Report.
Yeah, with that said, I would also, before we get going, Chief Senate, if you want to bounce, you're welcome to stay.
No, I'll
But
stick
it-
around. Is the chief's report in there? Is there
It
anything that-
is,
I haven't looked at it, but if there's anything I can assist with, I'll stick around for that.
sure, yeah, we get there quick enough, but if you want to roll, you can roll too. Okay, a
Can
couple
we make
things,
amendments and do that so we can?
you probably should have done it for
Oh,
the adoption.
sorry, we didn't do that.
I didn't anticipate he was gonna stay
Oh,
after
don't,
the
don't
code.
worry about it.
Okay, just a couple quick things, just as a follow-up, last meeting I let you guys know LAFCO, and I shared with you all a copy of their draft municipal service review for the
Yeah.
Centerville area on October 9th, last week. It was formally adopted, the MSR, so that concludes that process for the next 5 years. They're supposed to refresh it every 5 years in accordance with the state law. The section that pertained to Marinwood CSD was substantially left unchanged from the draft originally shared with all of you. I did attend the meeting. I did speak on behalf of the district when this was adopted on that evening. And I certainly want to acknowledge the LAFCO staff, who again, not a light lift. The MSR is a big process. They were very thorough, very thoughtful, very inclusive and comprehensive in their approach to completing the document. I am fully satisfied that we are well and accurately represented throughout the document, so I think that is a good thing. This is kind of an ongoing, just to give you guys a little bit of an update, we're still facing massive challenges with ADP and just trying to, as you know, as I've shared, we have several delinquent state tax filings that ideally was their responsibility to do, and their systems just can't seem to handle our setup because we have two numbers instead of one. We're continuing to work with them. Fortunately, we did identify another agency that we're now working with that is going through all of the motions so we can compile and submit all delinquent filings. They were on a call with us just this morning on a video call with ADP, making sure that they understood where everything was, because it's pretty messy for them when they're trying to pull this and it's not lining up. And we're going to continue to be very aggressive in holding ADP accountable for any levels of late fees, any levels of fines that might come with it, so on and so forth. So right now the primary objective is just get these things compiled, get the proper forms submitted. In theory, the state has our money, they just haven't been given the proper form.
Okay.
So we're trying to make sure that the money that has been sent matches up to the proper forms. It's been a bit of a nightmare. I had a brief meeting with representatives regarding Marinwood Plaza, the housing development. There was members of the development team there, as well as members from the county. The origin of this meeting was to talk about potential need for additional streetlights on Marinwood Avenue. Right now, there's actually only one streetlight on the roadway, that entire stretch from Miller Creek Road to where it dead ends past the bus yard there. There would need to be some additional streetlights, especially kind of at the ingress-egress locations of where they would be coming into this development. This isn't lights that would go into the development itself. That's 100% on, lighting up their parking and everything is completely on the developer. These would be roadway lights. I did express my concerns in that, a couple concerns with the housing right behind there, that any lighting needs to take into account so that they're not adversely impacting, into people's windows. Sure. Might need street light shades, so on and so forth. I let them know that nobody ever calls me about the street lights to tell me how much they love them. It's always the other way around. And my understanding is that, and I put this in writing in a follow-up email. Right now it's 4 parcels. They actually currently have a lot line adjustment application in to take those 4 parcels and reduce them to 2 parcels. I explained how our streetlight assessment fee works, that it's a whopping $15 per parcel, and at $30 extra, it's going to cost me more to maintain and energize the lights per year than we would get from this. So that actually places that tax burden on all of the other residents. So we'll see where that goes. The purchase, the installation is all the responsibility of the developer. Once they're in place, our job would just be adding them to our inventory, adding them for maintenance as well as for power. And then that would come on us because we're the streetlight authority. But the installation of them, exactly as it happened with the development over here on Ellen, Ellen?
Yeah.
That one is, they had to do all of the install. We approved the locations, did that in conjunction with the city and roads, the roads division, looking at this from a safety perspective. That was 3 lights that went in there. Gotcha. But that's also 28 parcels by which to afford, right, to provide the revenue for the added maintenance, the regular maintenance fee as well as the power. So I was very clear in that, $30 isn't going to even turn these lights on in a year, so we need to talk about that a little bit. So where that goes, probably nowhere, but I wanted to make it clear that less is more. We don't need 5 more streetlights down the road here, and keep in mind the people that live there. And then the final piece of information here, FEMA. I don't know if you read my update, so I won't get into it. I had kind of just figured that they had closed up shop and locked the doors, and out of nowhere, I got a random communication from them that I certainly wasn't expecting. I knew that this was stuck in what's known as environmental and historical preservation, and EHP for their review. They had reached out to the local Native American tribe, which in our case is the Federated Indians of Great and Rancheria, who wanted, because this is a sensitive area, there are very known areas of historical significance in the immediate area. They wanted to come and do a survey. It must have taken 6 months to finally get that on the calendar. On September 17th, he did show up and in 3 minutes said, yeah, this looks great, and left. And I kid you not, it was 3 minutes. We didn't even know he was here. And neither did the FEMA rep, as we're just waiting for him, and she wound up intercepting him in the parking lot. He's like, oh no, I'm done, we're fine.
Great.
So then I thought we were done until they came back again a couple weeks later and said, okay, now we need this document, this document, this document on other kind of environmental regulatory and monitoring things, all of which I'd already given them in the past, but whatever, compiled it, gave it to them. To make a long story short, they have actually closed out the EHP review to a satisfactory setting. It is now in final FEMA review. I've been in contact with our current, what's called the Program Delivery Service Man, PDMG, Program Delivery Grant Manager, PDGM. And asked, okay, can we set a meeting soon to go through this? I want to make sure that all of the financial records that I have submitted match what I actually have here, because I've given this to so many different people over the course of, it's been 2 years since the project has been, or a year. 2 years.
Longer, yeah.
Yeah, because we completed it.
It happened.
It happened in 23.
It was 2 years,
Yeah, we completed it in 20,
Happened in
yeah. So, at any rate, the event was almost 3 years ago. So just trying to close that out. What or how long final review takes? Hopefully I have something on the next October agenda for you guys, but we are one step closer to them actually obligating funding to reimburse, which is like 91.5% of total cost if it all works out.
Great.
Which would be great, and because we don't have enough going on, Tiffany and I are got it on our radar, and we're working towards getting everything put together for our annual financial audit. We are just waiting on a couple of outstanding reconciles, one being work comp, that came through, so we know where all that stands, and I think we can successfully close out our books with any payables, receivables. We just need to do a couple other reconciles with the county accounting system to make sure that their monthly numbers match ours. They're always a little bit behind on getting their end done, and we can't really go until they go. But long story short, all of that's coming up. Still anticipate all that'll be done by early 26, and that's our pretty standard timing.
Okay. Great.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Tiffany.
Sorry?
I said sorry and thank you.
No sorries.
Well,
It's all good.
the ADP,
Keeps me out of trouble.
I know, we appreciate it.
And I want to thank Eric, because he's been spending a lot of extra time. He ran to that extra meeting last week, and he's been spending a lot of extra time on things that are connected to his job, but I think you're going above and beyond right now, and I appreciate that. And it's very clear that that's working out to the benefit of the community, so thank you.
And I appreciate it, thank you. But yeah, it's my job.
All right, item F, Fire Department Matters. F1, agreement between the County of Marin and Marinwood Community Services District for fire protection and emergency services to County Service Area 13.
Yep, these are the standard agreements that we do. Both of these, what I will ask is you'll do 2 separate motions and votes for each agreement. but these are what we do every year. The numbers for CSA 13 are based on a percentage of our overall fire budget, plus a reconciliation with how our fire expenditures ended the prior year. This year is resulting in approximately a 7.2% increase from prior year. And as I put in here, some of that is actually a true up from last year. When we had to do these agreements, we were still in negotiation, so I had to use a moderate placeholder to anticipate increase in wages, which is the single largest expense over there. I came in a little under on that, so some of this is a makeup. Both of these have been shared with the county executive office. They are okay with everything that's in there and tentatively have agreed on this. So my recommendation is you approve both agreements tonight, separate motions, and then I will get them to the county first thing tomorrow, and they will be on an upcoming county board of supervisors agenda for to be duly executed.
Excellent. Any questions, comments?
Lisa, do you want to be the one
Sure, so we're gonna do two separate
Yep.
motions? All right, so I move to approve the agreement between the county of Marin and Marinwood for fire protection and emergency service of Service Area 13.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There we go.
And then I'll do my motion to approve the agreement between the County of Marin and Marinwood Community Service District for protection and emergency services for the juvenile hall site.
And I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, done and done. Any questions about the minutes of the fire commission meeting? Any questions or comments about the chief officer report and activity summary?
Just happy to hear.
She's sending stuff around.
Right?
know, right?
What do
Wayne?
you got? Let's see, so I'm looking at this for the first time, so.
Right?
We're winging it here.
So we're
I like
making
it.
sure that we
Oh, I'm sure
hold
you
you
know most
to
of the chief
everything we say.
It's better I said.
Okay, so staffing update, really nothing much to report there. Operations division, Engine 58, the Marinwood engine, Corey and Smith, first on scene of a traffic accident, South 111 Prada, NSP, both did a good job working on the patient. It was a cardiac arrest, and your crew accompanied the patient to the hospital. This month's block training is high-rise firefighting, and they're doing that at the Embassy Suites, and that's going very well. And then this is interesting. The Oak Senior Living Project has resurfaced.
Mm-hmm.
It went away for a while, and now it's back, and it seems to be back with some energy. And it seems like there's a lot of motivation to move this forward now. So I've been in a few meetings with the county and with developers voicing our fire protection needs and issues and concerns. But I think this is something you've seen before. It's in the same location, although the buildings have a slightly different footprint. And I think they're going from 3-story to 4-story with 126 apartments. So
Elevated walkways, all of it, yeah.
yeah, so, you know, these types of facilities they're building a lot of them. We just finished one in downtown Centerville called Aegis.
Mm-hmm. That one on the corner?
Yeah, which looks great,
Right.
right? The St. Vincent, which is closer to the A&W and the McDonald's, there on
Right.
Redwood Frontage Road. That's about 2 years old now. These things get built and they get occupied to capacity very quickly, so
Right.
they want to keep building them, and I think that's the reason why they want to get this going as well. This one's very challenging because it involves extending Marinwood Avenue and building a bridge, things like that, so there's a lot to it versus just like Aegis, which was on a vacant lot at the corner of Lincoln and Mission,
Right.
so much more straightforward, but, so we'll see how that goes.
What impact, and maybe that's the wrong word, but I'm just thinking about our firefighters and the equipment that we have and things like that. I mean, is there,
Well-
obviously, it's gonna give us more calls within
These are
the-
EMS hotspots.
Okay,
Okay, that's the one big issue that fire has with senior living is the majority of our calls are for those who are probably 60 years and older. And the more senior living facilities you have, the more calls that are generated. So there are some senior living, retirement, rehab facilities that we visit on a daily basis
for sure.
for transporting to the hospital. So that's usually the primary issue is just increasing call frequency, but it won't be anything that is a concern to our existing resources. It doesn't
Okay.
like put us over the edge
Right.
for call volume or anything like that.
Okay.
But we will be visiting that on a fairly regular basis,
Sure.
you know, probably once a week to transport somebody to the hospital.
Okay.
The challenge that I have with this particular site is the fact that it's at the end of what will be a dead-end roadway, and there's only one way to approach it, versus other buildings, like, for example, in downtown Santa Fe, where you can approach it from multiple directions, which is good from a firefighting standpoint. You have multiple hydrants. You can have engines picking up hydrants coming in from two directions to get to your building. Ladder truck can come from a different direction. It just makes firefighting tactics and strategy much more straightforward. This is a challenge, one way in. So all your fire resources, if God forbid there was something bad happening in this building, they all have to be coming down Marinwood Avenue across this bridge. And it just limits your ability to get around the building. As you can see, it's hard to see on this, but really most of the approach, the access is going to be from the front. There isn't a way to drive around it. There are fire code provisions for hose stretch, for hydrants, for ladder truck access, but in a situation like this, it just presents a higher degree of challenge from a firefighting standpoint. Now, having said that, this building will have state-of-the-art fire protection systems, fire sprinklers, fire alarms, all sorts of things. So
Right.
any fire that does occur should be kept in check. But, you know, if you had an earthquake, for example, this will be a challenging building. You've got a bridge that you got to cross. Hopefully that's not impaired by the earthquake. And then, like I said, it's one way in. If for some reason that roadway is blocked, there isn't any other option. So I have voiced that concern very strongly. So I want to see that the fire protection systems, the fire department access is set up as strategically as possible for us, so that we have every fighting chance to get multiple resources in there if necessary. A good example is like the 516 Canal fire we had a few months ago. Big fire down the canal, three-story building, basically fully involved upon arrival. Didn't have sprinkler systems, all right, so
Very different there.
very different there, but a very unusual fire, whereas typically we have fires in apartments on a fairly regular basis. It's usually limited to room and contents, like the bedroom, or the apartment unit gets pretty much gutted, but the rest of the building's okay. 516 Canal was highly unusual because it was almost fully involved upon our arrival, which was very out of the ordinary. But the advantage was that we had multiple ways to get to it, including a fireboat from the canal, which did a very effective job. Multiple hydrants being fed from different directions, which is important, instead of having like one dead-end water main
Right.
that you can easily overtax and then have problems. So this presents more of a firefighting challenge if there were a major emergency. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure that it is as safe as possible for the occupants and from a firefighting standpoint as set up as best as possible for the firefighters.
Okay.
So
I thought I saw in one of the reports, Chief, looking good, you know, from plans and your comments, that there was either a request or maybe even a requirement that it did have a fire lane that goes around the entire circumference of the building.
yeah, I don't.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different development.
I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of them out here right now.
I mean, I don't know where it would go, because they gotta cut into the hillside and everything
Yeah,
else, so.
yeah, it's highly impractical, but there is one advantage. There's two separate buildings, if you look at this picture, two separate buildings. And what I'm gonna try and do is create a fire lane in between them, so a fire engine can actually pull down in between the two buildings. with a fire hydrant either at the end or in the middle of that, what will probably be like a walkway. So something along those lines, just to be able to get a fire engine a little bit further back.
Sure.
But
And do we as the Marinwood Fire Department have a ladder truck?
Somerville does.
Okay.
And Nevada. So you have them coming from two different directions, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't impact, because we're gonna have the housing at the plaza, which is gonna be, I would assume, at least 3 stories. I don't remember the last
Yes,
one.
right.
And,
Sprinkler,
right. And this one, so that still doesn't affect,
no,
okay.
no.
At what point is there?
Modern construction, fire sprinkler, fire alarm system. So what you have is you have early detection with your fire
Sure.
alarm system, right? Early detection of the fire and building occupant notification going at the same time.
Okay,
So if it's at night, everybody's waking up.
sure.
Then you have the fire sprinkler system, which will detect and basically deploy a sprinkler head when a fire is in what we call the incipient stage, meaning very small,
Okay,
like a waste paper basket. So the nearest sprinkler head will activate and will either extinguish the fire 9 times out of 10, or at least just keep it in check
okay,
until we get there, so that it doesn't propagate, doesn't expand, doesn't get out of the kind of the point of origin.
right,
So everything's very safe.
okay.
Which
And
is
the
good.
alarm settings automatically call dispatch.
Yes.
It's-
Right.
they
It's
are-
called-
Okay.
Yeah, they're monitored 24/7. I mean, just
So
like
it's a
our,
sprinkler system.
when we,
Yeah.
when we built the maintenance facility, we
Right.
had to have 24/7
Yeah.
monitoring on it as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, great.
And then there's a wild fire mitigation division update, CWPP update is underway. Eric is getting information directly, but did ask us for help in analyzing fuel modeling. I'm not sure what that means.
The CWPP, the countywide,
Sorry, who made that request, and do you have anything for me on that, or?
nope, that's already, that was more of a Quinn K. Collin,
Got it.
or Calvin
Mhm.
setting in, that's already been done. The CWPP, what does that mean, is that countywide prevention plan?
Yeah. Mhm.
Or the county wildfire prevention plan, is
Okay.
what it is. And NWPA kind of championed it this go around, last go around, it was actually county fire that did the heavy lift. NWPA, and they had sent out looking, an initial document, just kind of showing some of the modeling and everything that went into it, looking for any comments we might have on, some of the flame length modeling and all that, and I'm like, yeah, this is Greek, so,
Right.
any help you all can provide me in whatever comments we should be having for the Marinwood area, and so Kate Anderson, who is just sharp as a tack and really good with this stuff, took a look through it, made sure all of our areas that have been treated were represented throughout the modelings, and it had a couple of questions about some of the model results that she submitted on our behalf.
Excellent.
Yep.
Any questions? Chief, thank you so much.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you.
appreciate your time
Especially on the
tonight.
fly like that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I just was thinking that vehicle collision report that's in there, because I didn't read that in advance, so I wasn't really prepared, but that was a very out of the ordinary vehicle collision that happened southbound 101, just south of Marinwood, in the afternoon, where typically, I mean, we get a lot of vehicle collisions on 101. They're typically fender benders, or the cars sustain a great deal of damage, but the way cars are designed these days, the occupants they might have minor injuries, or they're not injured. This one was very out of the ordinary, where there was a high-speed rear-end collision. There was a car stopped in the number 1 or number 2 lane, or close to a stop, and a car behind basically slammed into it at full speed. And in the second car was a pregnant female, her husband, the mother of the husband, and one other occupant. It might have been the father. And unfortunately, the mother of the son was not wearing a seatbelt. And so when they impacted the car in front of them, she flew forward, and then the car was hit from behind at a very high speed, and then she flew backward. Well, long story short, she went into cardiac arrest, and when engine 58 pulled up, what they encountered was the son doing CPR on his mother. the pregnant female who was 6 months pregnant having extreme abdominal pains, right? Then we had major injuries in 2 other vehicles. So Engine 58 just came upon this thinking that it was going to be the routine accident that we always get, and finding that it was anything but.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the female, the mother, she did not survive. They did everything they could to try and save her, but she passed away at the hospital. Fortunately, the daughter, the pregnant female, she was fine, baby's fine. The others received major injuries, but were not life-threatening, fortunately. But what you think is going to be a routine traffic accident, traffic collision on the freeway, which happens all the time as traffic slows, there's just these rear-enders, turned out to be just a major incident very quickly. But the Engine 58 crew just did a stellar job. They were first on scene.
Okay.
In fact, they were coming northbound from training at Station 52, and they were dispatched while they were on the freeway. And like I said, the call was southbound, and it was so serious as they were going northbound, they just pulled into the #1 lane northbound and jumped over the divider and just started to help as quickly as possible. Typically, you'd go up and turn around. So they did a very, very great job. But I mean, talk about having your hands full, just like immediately with multiple patients and somebody getting CPR done on the freeway. So.
And just happening to be basically en route
Right.
when the call came in.
Yeah, the 58 crew did a great
Yeah, they
job.
didn't dispatch after the call. I mean, they just happened to be driving that way, and all of a sudden the call came through, and there they were. So.
Yeah, so I wanted to note that. That was a
Really fast
significant
response
incident.
time.
I know that that's their profession, and we know these guys well enough to know that they're extreme professionals. Would it, like, just out of public curiosity, what's the follow-up for, like, how do they get to debrief that, or like?
Oh, well, we have those programs in place
I'm sure.
when needed,
Okay.
absolutely. Anybody who shows signs or anybody who requests will get immediate professional assistance without delay.
Okay.
So captains, officers are trained to recognize the symptoms, and all employees are well versed in the fact that there are resources immediately available to them.
Okay.
They have, for lack of a better term, there's a large peer counseling network
Yes.
kind of throughout the county, and also all of our firefighters have access to what's known as an employee assistance program, which gives them, direct lines. They can call 24/7, receive counseling, professional services, whatever they might need, kind of as because it's traumatic.
Yeah.
I didn't need to take up more time. but-
No.
Yeah,
I
this is
think
how
that's
we like
important.
them.
I remember the accident, I was
I
actually
just saw
sitting in
I saw the blurb, and then it didn't really hit me until afterwards.
Right.
Oh, I remember that call. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And
for
58
sure.
was right on top of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing I would call out Chief Cinnamon here too is that when that large canal fire did happen that he was talking about, I don't know if any of you were watching the news that morning, but
I saw you on the news.
Chief Sinnott was the representative who went up there and spoke. Served as the PIO of the moment. So you did great, Chief.
Thank you.
You always represent everybody well.
Thank
so,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. It's gonna be hard to follow, Luke.
Don't worry.
We had a cracked irrigation pipe.
Chief, if you want to make your way home.
Or when fire,
We're happy yours is not so crazy. Thank you very much, Chief. Have a
Thank
wonderful
See you
night.
next month.
Yes, yes.
For the public
For the
hearing.
hearing,
Public
yes.
We're gonna need more chairs.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
All right, Park and Rec matters, G1. Any questions about the P&R minutes? Anything that needs to be added?
Oh, so I was not at the Park and Rec meeting. There was a big holiday, so
All right.
sorry. I have nothing to add because I wasn't there.
It was a pretty standard meeting.
Okay, all right. Park and Recreation and Park Maintenance Activity Report?
Just leave them there. I'll take care of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so since we last met, a few highlights. We did wrap up our summer camp season on August 15th after nine weeks of summer, which was it was a really great summer. We had just an awesome overall experience. Staff were great. The activities, we had a lot of new activities and creative input from our supervisor staff and from Robin, and she's built a really stellar kind of hierarchy in the camps, and people bringing fresh ideas and doing special arts and crafts and special events, and it was great. My 3 kids were in camp again this summer, and every day was just like nonstop. Like, we did this, we did that. It was a really stellar season. It went really well, and I was telling people this I think at the commission meeting, but this was one of like the first summer that felt like we had gotten like fully past COVID. Like, just things were just normal. There wasn't any weird kind of residual. It just felt like a very traditional summer camp season, and I'm very grateful for that. And, just want to thank Robin and John Paul and Carolyn and all the myriad like 200 camp staff that helped put on our big summer season. And it's like 500 kids a day. I think I wrote in here some of our stats, but we served around 1,400 individual kids from over 1,000 individual families, and it's a lot of people here throughout the summer, and it was a very positive and relatively easygoing summer season, which we love. So really very grateful for that. The pool season also ended since we last met, more recently on October 3rd, and we had a great end of the season kind of heat wave, couple heat waves there, which is thankfully right when we ended, it went into more of a colder, rainy time. Sometimes we're like, it's like 90 degrees out and the doors are closed. People are like, it's not winter yet, go knocking on the doors. So I was glad that we didn't have too much of a heat wave after we closed, but we ended strong. We actually had a lot of business on the weekdays and the weekends leading up to the end of the pool season. We actually had a free promo, some huge Instagram like marketing campaign and like, all the pools are closed after Labor Day, but like go to Marinwood. We have someone we're not affiliated with, someone we didn't know. Had this beautiful video of our pool and telling all the hours and the prices. And we're like, we don't have any staff, we're not equipped for a giant crowd right now. Like, there's people like flooding in, which we made it work. And thanks to the full-time rec staff for stepping in back into the lifeguard chair to help fill in. We had a skeleton crew with our dwindling college staff and kids coming in after high school and stuff. But the season ended strong and went very well. So we're happy to have ended on a high note there. We had our final concert in the park on Friday, August 22nd, which was a fantastic show. It's another one of those like 90-degree days that ended up being a perfect night. We had a band called Late for the Train, a bluegrass band from this area. Actually, one of the guys swam on Lucas Valley Lightning, and ended up being some like friends and family reunion for him. And it was a really cool way to end the summer. They were awesome, and it's a really nice way to kind of celebrate the summer. And I think it was maybe our best turnout for music in the park, easily top 3 in terms of just like the number of people that were there, which was really cool. So we really had a nice kind of end to a good summer season there. And more recently, this last Friday was our Halloween Harvest Festival, which was on Friday in the park. The rain stayed away until about 5 minutes after the event ended, and also just started like raining on us as we're cleaning up, which was totally fine. But we had a great turnout, great time, a lot of new games, and we had a big inflatable maze this year, which was really cool. Was that?
How did it go? I saw you guys setting it up.
It was good. My kids did it. They said it was really easy, but I heard there were other reports that were like you kind of get lost in there. So I didn't personally have a chance to go in there, but I think it was a big hit. We'll probably try to get it back next year. It went well. But yeah, we had a great turnout. We ran out of pumpkins. Big thanks to the Los Angeles Lions Club. They not only donated all the pumpkins this year, which was huge, big help to us. They also manned the pumpkin patch and a couple of our other games and stations, and which is a great partnership, and it was so fun to see the Lions out there. A lot of them dressed up. They're full costume. There was like clown paint faces and their top hats and magicians outfits. They were a very rowdy, spirited bunch. So we're very grateful that they become a big integral part of that event for us, which is awesome. We have our next event is in 2 weeks on Saturday the 25th. Will be our fall art show, our annual fall art show, which we're kind of getting things ready for. That should be another great event. This year's theme is a touch of red. I assume the community center will just be like awash in red paintings and sculptures, but that should be fun. So looking forward to that. And we're in the throes of our fall, normal fall season now. We got a preschool program going, a bunch of rec classes taking place every day, and so far things are going really well. So we're transitioned out of summer into our sort of our school season, and we're happy about that. On the parks maintenance side of things, we are working on our pool shell replacement project. Right now, I've been meeting with a representative from an architectural firm to help us get that project planned out and put out to bid, get updated drawings made for this project, and figure out what all is needed for that. So we've been meeting and getting photos taken and answering questions so we can put that project together. That's been going well so far. It's depending on what all we do, we may or may not be able to get that done before the pool season, but it sounds like if we have to end up pushing it back, I've gotten confirmation that our pool shell would potentially be able to last another season if we need to push things to the fall, but there's a chance we can get everything done this winter. So we're not totally sure yet. We're going to wait for input from this firm to tell us, hey, here's all your options and here's the timelines and costs associated with those, and we'll make a decision and we'll move forward with which version of this project we think we can do. So we'll update the board as we know more about that, but we should know more soon. So we're working on that, and then the parks maintenance staff have been busy getting everything ready for the fall season and the post-summer turf treatment, building cleanup, various maintenance projects, trying to get things ready to transition to our fall season. And one thing in particular is trying to keep the lower tennis courts playable, as they've kind of, the cracks and the holes have gotten worse and worse. And while we wait till we can allocate funds to be able to do something more severe there, or more permanent there, we have found a good patching system, and we've been starting to fill holes, kind of like a few at a time as time allows. And those patches have seemed to be working really well. We're hoping we keep those courts playable for the time being. There's a lot of uneven kind of surface area there, but as far as like actual like divots and large cracks building up, I think we have a good solution for that. So we'll keep addressing that as we can, and hope that we can keep the courts open until we can do something more permanent to replace the surface on the lower two courts. But now that we've got the rain coming, or we had some rain this week, the staff has been checking all the drains, and everything's flowing, everything looks open and is working well in the different culverts and V ditches. We'll be doing our annual kind of creek inspection later this week, just to make sure we address any issues, fallen trees, or any erosion concerns. But so far so good, and I'll report anything that we find in the coming months. Please let me know if anyone has any questions about any of that.
Any questions, comments?
Just thank you for.
Yeah, thank you, for sure.
Thank you.
Item H, board member items of interest, request for future agenda items. We're all good? All right, I'll just note that our next regular board meeting is, remember, it's November 18th because the 11th falls on national holiday. And go ahead and adjourn. Got 8:08.